Hi. Today I'm going to be defining narcissism, and I'm going to be using terminology from the DSM-5, which is the manual that they use for psychiatric diagnoses. I'm also going to be using layman terms, and I'm taking a look at my notes because I don't want to forget anything. I want to make sure this is a comprehensive view, and I'll give some examples of some of the things just to give you a better understanding. And if you have a narcissist in your life, or you're suspecting that you have a narcissist in your life, just kind of listen, let the list peruse over you. Don't worry if it doesn't all resonate. There's a lot of nuances when it comes to defining narcissism. I just want to have a general definition for what I'll be using with other videos. Okay, so according to the diagnostic manual, narcissists all have the same core traits, but there are many different forms of narcissism. I'm going to get into the differentiation between those different types of narcissism in other videos, but this video is just a definition. It can present extremely differently depending on the person that you're talking about. And as a matter of fact, those differences are what made it so hard for me to pinpoint what was going on in my own relationship. So have fun with this and just use this as a general guidepost. So one of the main things is a pattern of grandiosity. That can be both in fantasy and in actual behavior. So they have this inflated sense of self-importance. They might exaggerate their accomplishments or their talents. They might just have this underlying expectation to be recognized as special or more than or very important. A lot of times these people do believe that they should be recognized as higher status. They might think I'm the smartest person in the room. They want to be associated with other people of high status or institutions. This might present something as simple as buying an expensive car, even if they can't afford it, to really look that part and make sure that what their self-inflated sense of importance is also being seen and recognized by the outside world. I want to make out a point before I go into any more definitions that narcissism often is, we use this term very flippantly in society. People are getting a better understanding of it, but still often people will use the word narcissism when we're not actually seeing a true narcissist. So a narcissist is not necessarily just that person who's constantly bragging about themselves that everyone's rolling their eyes over and saying like, oh, that person's so narcissistic, or someone who's extremely vain. There are these very specific personality traits, and these traits will be pervasive over multiple contexts. Okay, they do tend to be preoccupied with fantasies about unlimited successes. So how this presented a lot of times in my prior relationship was we'd pull up to a friend's house and he might make a comment like, oh my gosh, look at this amazing house. Did you see all the amazing houses on the street? I want to have a house like this. He may not have the budget to do it, but he wants it to look a certain way. The other thing is the sense of entitlement. I definitely experienced this, thinking they're above rules, they're above the law, they're above even societal norms, that those specific sets of agreements don't pertain to them. They may expect special treatment or automatic compliance of their expectations. It could be something simple like, hey, I want to eat out. And then their spouse reminding them, oh, well, we actually made an agreement that we're going to save money. And one of the ways we're going to save money is by not eating out. And then the narcissist may then revert to name calling, oh, I didn't realize that you were the finance police. or something like that. They just expect automatic compliance, even if it isn't in alignment with prior conversations or agreements that have been made. This is a good one. They're interpersonally exploitative. So they'll take advantage of others in order to achieve their own ends. So they might use their wife's social security number in order to get credit cards or special bonuses when their own credit score wouldn't give them the opportunity to do that. Or they might forge their wife's power of attorney on a tax document or some kind of legal measure in order to get the IRS to do something in their favor. They could skim money off the top of their paychecks rather than allowing that money to come in for the family and for their kids when their kids need things like shoes or clothing to fit their growing bodies. Not that I speak from personal experience on any of this, but let's just keep moving on. Often they're envious of others or believe that others are envious of them. So there's a lot of this competitive and hierarchical thinking. They show arrogance in their behaviors and their attitudes. I will see this showcased not just in the situations I've been in, but I've seen this with other people as well, where they have one drink or maybe a couple of drinks, and all of a sudden it's very apparent that this person feels like everything that comes out of their mouth is super wise, super important. This might present as them talking over people. They may think what they're saying is more important. Maybe if someone says something, they might minimize it. So for example, someone may say like, oh, I just started running and I'm gonna sign up for a 5K. I think that would be like a really fun way to have a goal and get in shape. And they might be like, oh, well, I was a marathon runner for years. I ran 2 marathons every year. And I know, everything there is to know about running. And so rather than just letting the person have their experience, they want people to be very envious of them, or they are envious of others because maybe they want to be doing that. And been a decade since they've actually done any running. Okay, so I pretty much touched on everything that are these qualities that are pervasive in these personalities. Maybe you hear this and it's confusing, or not everything resonates, or maybe like you can kind of identify with 1 or 2 traits that are a match. That might just mean that whoever you have in mind is not a narcissist. It also could point to them being a covert narcissist, and I'll cover covert narcissism in a different video. And if it happens to be 2 a.m. and you're online and you're doing a deep dive and all of a sudden having this like come to Jesus moment, I've been there. Know that I feel you. I am here with you. I will hold your hand through this. You're gonna want and need like a really good hand holding as you go down this journey of learning more and figuring out what's best for you and for your life. I will say you can get out, and there is this amazing, amazing world of people and support that will help you through it, and love that you've never imagined pouring into you that's there and available for you. Thanks.